Okay, so here I'm in the GCP console and I'll quickly open Cloud Shell. Let's first create a Kubernetes cluster. Okay. And you'll find all these commands in the GitHub repository. I'll paste the link as well in the description. So let's give it a minute to spin up. Okay, so the cluster is up and running. Let me hit refresh. So just a couple of things. I've used all the default settings here, which means it's using the default network, it's using the default subnet, it's a public cluster. You don't want to do that in production, but this is just a demo, so that's why I just kept the GKE cluster as simple, and I'll heavily focus on ArgoCD. But let me know if you want to see a detailed workshop on GKE as well. But yeah, I think we have the cluster. Let's go ahead and quickly connect to it. So since this is a public cluster, I can connect it through Cloud Shell as well. Okay. Now let's verify it. kubectl get nodes. Okay. So I think, yeah, that's good. Okay. So now let's go ahead and install ArgoCD here. So again, as I mentioned, all these commands you can find in the GitHub repository that I have linked below in the description. And this is also in the official documents as well, so I'll also put a link to that. So it's going ahead and installing ArgoCD. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to expose this ArgoCD so that we can access it from outside. Alright, so let's make it public and we'll use ingress to expose this. By default, when ArgoCD gets installed, the service is installed as a cluster IP, and we can tweak it to load balancer, but it's not a good practice. So let's go ahead and use ingress to expose this. Okay, before we do that, you will have to install nginx ingress first. So we'll add the nginx ingress Helm repo, and then we'll hit repo update, and then we'll just go ahead and install nginx. So this might take some time. Once this gets installed, we will also have to install cert manager, because again, it's a good practice to use HTTPS rather than just HTTP. Let's wait for this to spin up. Okay, so nginx is up and running, and what I'll do now is kubectl get pods -n nginx. Okay, they're running, and let's also see the service. Okay, so as you can see, this external IP is up, and let's add this in the DNS. So I'll quickly go here, go to network services, and then cloud DNS. Open this in a new tab, and this. I already have this domain, and what I'll do is I'll add a record here. I'll just call it ArgoCD, and then add that ingress IP here. Okay, so this is done. Now another prerequisite to expose that using ingress on HTTPS, we will have to install cert manager. So let's go ahead and do that as well. Okay, so I already have that repo added, so I'll just do Helm repo update. Okay, it's there, and now I'll go ahead and then install it. Now I'm using Helm to do it, but you can use customize or just plain YAML files to do it. But Helm, as you know, is the easy way and the best way to install anything on Kubernetes. So okay, let's install the cert manager. Okay, this will take some time, so let me pause. Okay, cert manager is also up and running. If I go to kubectl get pods -n cert manager, so you can see that cert manager is also up and running. Great. So now again, this is not a course on how to configure issuer and all those things, but so I'll not dive too much deeper into that. So In this video, I'll just show how to expose ArgoCD using Ingress. First of all, let's go ahead and create a cluster issuer. And I've already done that, so let me show you the file. And this is what the file will look like. Ingress class name is Nginx. We will use Let's Encrypt as the cluster issuer. Now I'm using cluster issuer. You can use issuer as well if you want to constrain it to a namespace. So let's go ahead and apply this as well. Awesome. Great. Now what I'll do is I will create a Ingress resource for ArgoCD. So if I just go ahead and do svc-n ArgoCD, you can see that we will use ArgoCD server as the backend of the Ingress that we will use. Now I've already gone ahead and created this Ingress. So as you can see, the backend is ArgoCD server. I'm using the domain name that I have pointed the Ingress IP to in Cloud DNS, and this is the annotation that I'm using for this particular Ingress. Great. So let's go ahead and apply this. kubectl apply -f ArgoCD Ingress. Oops, typo. Okay, it's applied. Let's see kubectl get Ingress ArgoCD. So we can see it's up and running here. Okay, so let's go to ArgoCD, and we can see that it's loading, which is good. Let's input the username and password, and in order for you to know the password, we'll have to look at the secret. So let's run this command to get the secret. ArgoCD initial admin -secret ArgoCD -o. Yeah. So we can see this is the password, and what we will do is let's decode this. Base 64 decode. So this is the password, and let's log in using this password. Okay, so now you can see here that we are into ArgoCD, but before we move ahead, let's go ahead and change the password. So I'm into my terminal. I already have ArgoCD installed. If you don't have, you can do brew install ArgoCD. You can also find instructions to install ArgoCD on your Linux machine by following the link in the GitHub repository that I have pointed to. So let's log in. Let me zoom in a little bit and let me log in. ArgoCD login. ArgoCD.Google Cloud ucs.dev. Okay, I'll paste it. The username and the password. So this is the password that we got from last time. And we are logged in successfully, and then we'll run ArgoCD account update password. We'll enter the current password and then the new password. Awesome, the password is updated. If I go here, click refresh, I'll be logged out, and let's log in using the new password. Okay, so there we have it. Now that we have ArgoCD installed and up and running, let's move on to the next section where we will dive deeper into the ArgoCD architecture and the various ArgoCD components which are running in the backend and what function each of those components